his 54 fights, 45 inside the distance, and his crushing victory of Francisco Thomas de Cruz exemplified his class and his power.
And this is Chavez all out, which, as I say, could be his last one at this weight. How's he going to do as a lightweight? And it's all over in the third. And Julio Cesar quite right, I thought, there to nip in. I've seen fights go a bit longer at championship grade, but I'm always on the referee's side to get in early.
Edwin Rosario can be really devastating. It took him just 2 rounds to catch up with Livingston Bramble.
The referee looked primed to dive in there. He said something but stood off. Oh, and that's the first knockdown, obviously, for Bramble. And I tell you what, he doesn't believe this. When he was shaking his head, he's going to stay there as well and get counted out in the second round. A real turn-up for the book. The underdog came to life there. Edwin Rosario with an absolutely marvellous performance.
Edwin Rosario winning his WBA lightweight title. And last Saturday in Las Vegas at the Hilton, he put it on the line against Julio Cesar Chavez. The commentary will be by Reg Guttridge and Jim Watt. But first, the introduction.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Las Vegas Hilton Sports Arena, where tonight the Las Vegas Hilton Hotel, in association with Don King Productions and the Miller Brewing Company, makers of Miller Light Beer, presents World Championship Boxing. These bouts are sanctioned by the Nevada State Athletic Commission, Herb Santos, Chairman, Chuck Minker, Executive Director. The commissioners at ringside this evening are Dr. Elias Ghanem, Freddie Little, Sig Rogich, and Dwayne Ford. The WBA representative at ringside, Dr. Elias Cordoba. Supervising the bout for the WBA is Mr. Murray Sleep of Halifax, Nova Scotia. The officials assigned by the Nevada State Athletic Commission for the next event of the evening, the judges are Bob Watson of Michigan, Al Tremeri of Illinois, and Jerry Roth of the state of Nevada. The timekeeper is Charlie Roth. Counting at the knockdowns, Mike Morrow. The attending physician at ringside, Doctors Flip Homansky, James Game, and Al Capana. Your referee for the next event of the evening is Richard Steele. This is the main event of the night. 12 rounds of boxing for the WBA Lightweight Championship of the World. Introducing, in the blue corner, fighting out of Culiacan, Mexico, weighing in at 134 3/4 pounds, with a professional record of 54 wins, no defeats, and 45 KOs. He is the current WBC Super Featherweight Champion of the World and is the challenger, Julio Cesar Chavez. And in the red corner, fighting out of Santurce, Puerto Rico, weighing an even 135 pounds. His professional record consists of 26 wins, 2 defeats, with 22 KOs. He is the WBA Lightweight Champion of the World, Edwin El Chapo Rosario.
And the crowd there has spotted the main man, I think, who's with Rosario, Iron Man Mike Tyson. He comes from the same camp and he's getting a bit of applause from the unbeaten heavyweight champion of the world. But he'll need all the help he can get against Chavez. Referee then Richard Steele from Las Vegas. And there's the rundown of the tape. There really is not much between them either on the record. He's lost 2, Edwin Rosario. I actually made him win 31 instead of 26, but there you are, the American statistics. I can't argue with them.
Okay, I spoke to both the fighters in the dressing room. I want to caution, and you both make sure they understand. Obey my commands at all times. Shake hands, good luck.
Well, Jim, I'd like to see your manager wearing that ribbon around his head, I tell you that. I can't imagine Lawler standing for that one. So the preliminaries are over, scheduled for 12. And just to re-ident for you then, the red trunks, Chavez, who has gone up from the super featherweight to challenge now for the lightweight championship, 9 stone 9. Chapo Rosario is his nickname there. In fact, he's got it on the waistband of his trunks. As I say, he's in the Jim Jacobs camp. But I must say that if I'd have had any vote this year, I might have voted for Chavez as the fighter of the year, even above Mike Tyson. He has just been tremendous. 9 championship defences at 9-4. And it looks, yes, he's got the stars on his trunks there, like the fighter pilots that were shooting down the bombers there, notching up the kills, as it were. 9 defences. And when Mexican fights a Puerto Rican, I promise you, in America, Jim, England and Scotland is like a Chelsea tea party compared with these. Great stylists, aren't they, both of them?
Yeah, this is a fight that all of the fight trade have been waiting for. This could shape up as the fight of the year. You have 2 men really at their peak. And the big question mark is, of course, can Chavez come up the weight and have the same power and obviously the same performances at lightweight, but we're now about to find out.
Yeah, it's amazing sometimes when fighters move up. They don't always take their punch with them, even though it's only a few pounds. So Rosario knocked out Livingston Bramble in Miami in the second round to regain the championship. That was the WBC version. Back in '83, he'd won and lost that one. Now we're going to get this American-style pattern. I mean, they're both more or less domiciled fight-wise in the States. Straight in there, Jim. The old phone booth stuff. They're not going to need a big ring, are they?
No, they both have similar styles. They're both good-thinking fighters, but they like to work up close. They don't want to circle and use the long jabs. But Rosario hasn't started the same way he started against Bramble. He's not really putting full power into these punches. He's putting the punches home, but not really getting the leverage yet. But okay, we have a long time to go.
Referee Steele there, just making sure they don't pull on there, because that's when the heads can clash. He wants a hard and clean fight. As Jim Watt said, this was really a fight trade special, this, but the gamblers have made Chavez 8-5 on favourite. It's very much a neutral site, actually, the desert in Las Vegas, and it's a nippy night, so they can go at a fair old pace there. Unlike Barry McGuigan, who had to fight in the heat. Oh, and after the bell, a little bit of the noughties there, as I was saying, Jim. England-Scotland doesn't come into it when the Mexicans and the Puerto Ricans start. Look at that now. This is the replay right at the end there. When the bell goes and he backs off, I think you'll see Chavez there, and then he just has one for luck. And we're into the second round then, and what a good start. They didn't have a look at each other at all. They just got straight stuck in. Haven't fought before. Rosario broke his right wrist twice, once sparring, and then when he outpointed Luis Ramirez. But he's made a real good comeback there. He must have had some tremendous treatment. He stopped his first 11 rivals, but I don't think statistics don't mean a thing when you're in with a great little fighter like Chavez. Jim, they don't even, when they call break, they step back just half a yard and then back straight in again. There's no dancing around the ring here.
Yeah, well, they're right up close, but they're not clinching. They're punching all the time. But Rosario seems at this stage as though he's thinking of a kind of counter-punching campaign. He's not trying to push Chavez back, as I thought it would have been, that he is the lightweight. He is the man who's been boxing at this poundage throughout his career. But he has actually been the one who is forced against the ropes, and it's not what I expected.
Step back.
Chavez has got slightly the looser style of the two. He's a bit more relaxed. He has always been a tight fighter, the champion Rosario, but known as a good puncher. And there are certain people in the business who think he might just hit that bit too hard for Chavez. But the fights I've seen, the Mexican in his chin has been really stout. Well, there you are, Jim. I don't want to worry you, but this was your weight. You're almost back in there with him again with this close-up. The referee could have put a handkerchief down in the corner and said, OK, stand on that. You don't need this ring. This is really the ideal, real American-type pro fight. These fellas have learned their game, obviously, in their home countries and then become typical American fighters.
Keep him up, keep him up.
Their English is not too good, Jim, but I think they understood the referee there all right about keeping them up. But neither of them have complained or flinched. What a great little battle this is. I think it's going to be close up all the time now, don't you? This has got to be the pattern. This is the game plan.
We didn't expect it to be a cracker, but I thought Chavez would have looked for a bit more room. He's the more cultured performer of the two. Normally close-up action suits Rosario, but Chavez seems quite happy in there, and it looks as though he's trying to beat him at his own game.
Oh, we tried it again there, just as well that one missed. Well, there it is, the overhead view then from the Hilton in Vegas. Stage with, of course, a great deal of fights. And out for the third. And as Jim's saying, Chavez surprises me the way he's really cutting down the space on Rosario. Maybe that's the plan, maybe that was how they'd worked it out in the camp beforehand.
That was a good right hand from Chavez there, caught Rosario bang on target, wobbled him a little bit. So he's thinking defence now.
He's such a confident character, Rosario, Jim, that when he takes a crack like that, one gets the feeling that, you know, a little bit of ambition might start going out. You can't do that in a championship fight, of course, but when it's a battle of wills, I think we could maybe rely on Chavez of the two. Great variety of punches. How he just threw that uppercut there between Chavez's guard. There he's trying it again, but to the body.
This is more like the technique we expected from Rosario, to push Chavez back. Chavez knows all of the punches, very cultured, as I said, and you don't want him pushing you back.
3 American judges for this: Las Vegas, Detroit, Chicago. The state of Nevada still manages to have always American judges. It seems only in Europe we have to bring them from all around the world for world title fights. Punch and get out, the referee's saying. I don't know whether they understand that much English, but I think they know their business, these two. Very much so. What a great couple of fighters this. I think he's made the transition already, Jim, hasn't he, from weight to weight here. You'd think he was a full lightweight. He's obviously had to drag Chavez to do that 9 stone 4 poundage over the last few years. 9 defences is remarkable.
Yeah, he actually seems to have more power at lightweight. Twice in this round he's troubled Rosario with his punches. Twice he's caught him bang on, once with the right hand, once with the left hook. And each time you could see Rosario saying, hold on a second, better get out of here. So he certainly has the power to trouble the lightweights, that's without a doubt.
He always follows up with a punch there. Chavez through the right hand and then automatically through the left hand with it, the underneath punch. Well, I don't think the traders are going to complain about this one, Jim. Most of them wouldn't have paid to come in anyway, but I bet they're enjoying it.
Yeah, it's the cracker we expected it to be. They've never been more than a couple of inches away from each other. It's not it's as good a fight as I expected, but it's not the type of fight I expected.
So the head's banged there, but no, he's not cut Rosario. Well, the man with the fancy ribbon, he must be doing something right, because Chavez is certainly fighting well. And into the 4th. To repeat then, it's scheduled for 12. With the Puerto Rican Rosario and these sort of the mannequin type trunks he's got there are almost indescribable for me. You need a fashion writer to do this. He's defending.
Rosario gives me the impression of a man who's pacing himself, as though he's thinking of the 12 rounds, whereas Chavez, every time he gets in close, he's putting the real power into the punches. But we haven't really seen the power that we know Rosario has. It's as though he's holding a little bit back, pacing himself.
It seemed possible that Rosario actually boxed in a small hall in London at Bethnal Green against Frankie Randall, but that fight, of course, was staged for American television.
All right, break, step back. Don't hit.
The durability is tremendous, Jim. I mean, they're really digging these two, but neither of them are noticeably flinching, are they?
No, well, twice in the third round, I did notice that Rosario was troubled by 2 clean punches from Chavez, but straight back into action again. Obviously not deterred in the least, but at that stage, it looked as though Chavez had a little bit more power than Rosario, which was a surprise.
Oh, I love the glare at the finish there. You've got plenty of more to come, I think Chavez might have been saying there.
Sí, señor, muy bien, ahí estamos, como los hombres ahí. Muy bien.
Well, whatever it is, they seem to be fairly satisfied with that corner there.
No te voy a echar la cabeza. Ahora lo que quiero es verte trabajando. Tú tienes buen aire para trabajar con ánimo, y meterle la mano a ese tipo con fuerza.
He sounds just a little bit more anxious to me, Jim, I think, this one.
Yeah, well, Rosario is the man who needs fired up. Chavez is definitely fired up. He's putting the bite into the punches, and at this stage, I don't think Rosario is. He gives me the impression that he's pacing himself. I don't know, is he strong at the weight, or what's going through his mind?
And we're into the 5th round. And Chavez is ahead. Cleaner punches and just a few more of them. And I don't know, maybe they'll still have to sort out the points after 12 rounds. It had the makings of a long distance fight because they're both so good, so durable. Chavez began his career as a bantamweight, 8 stone 6, and he only had 15 amateur bouts, 1 of 10 kids. He had to get out and get a living, and now he's very much a hero in Mexico, and you can understand why. Quality fighter, this. Love these little left hooks, the way they double them up, getting close in like this. I mean, real pro stuff, that, isn't it?
Well, Rosario tried to gain control there. He started the round with some really good, vicious-looking punches, but Chavez took the punches and come firing back again, so Chavez is not in the least troubled by Rosario's power at this stage.
When you're looking to make comparisons with quality, and you realise Chavez has outpointed Rocky Lockridge, who's now the IBF Junior Light Champion, and he also defeated Roger Mayweather, who's just become the WBC Junior Welterweight Champion. So he really has never been in with any mugs. He really is staying on top of Rosario the whole time, isn't he?
Yeah, well, once again we saw there that the real bite was in Chavez's punches, not Rosario's, and Rosario is the one with his back touching the ropes yet again.
Oh yes, he's really turning this fight now. I mean, he was ahead anyway, and now he's really stamping his authority in this round, Chavez. Well, I dare say there'll be a lot of super featherweights, the 9-4 division now, of which Pat Caldell is our champion now. They'll be saying, well, good luck to Chavez, because he'll give up that championship if he can win this, and that leaves the way open for quite a few of them. Well, you're scared to blink here, just in case you miss a punch, because there's so many going in that one could just turn it. Jim, have a look at this replay.
Well, this was typical of the action all the way through the round. There's never been daylight between the two of them. And although they're landing at most of the stages the same amount of punches, the sharp ones were from Chavez.
And we're into the 6th round then of a really tremendous championship battle. It's certainly come up to my expectations. I agree with you, Jim, that the tactics weren't quite the way I would have seen them coming like this, but what a good little fight. You daren't turn away in case you missed the vital punch.
See, I think Rosario is trying to get a little space between himself and Chavez. You can see here he's trying to circle, but it's not working. Chavez wants up close and he's getting there, and it's also giving Chavez a little bit of the initiative because Rosario's backing up. Rosario seems to be the man who would like to cool the pace a little bit.
The referee's enjoying it as well because he's standing well back from this. He's only just making the occasional intrusion. He's a good referee, Richard Steele.
Punching it out, punching it out.
Oh, yeah, there you are. He's even telling him how to do it. Punch and get out. The professional referees also have to encourage their men. They don't have to be too strict with the finger wagging, etc., which I understand why the amateurs do it, but it's a different game, this. And I think that's warmed the customers up in the desert now, okay? Mind you, I think the casino owners would rather it be over a bit lively so they can get back in there and hopefully do their money for them. And you see the promoter, Mr. Don King, in his large fur coat as always there. Chavez on top, Jim, now. There's no question about that, is there?
Yep, it's nip and tuck all the way, but I think Rosario's going to have to find a way to push Chavez back. Not once, I mean, maybe for a few seconds. As we see now, he's managed to push him back, but as soon as the action hots up, Chavez becomes the master again and pushes, and then we see the type of action we're getting now with Rosario with his back to the ropes.
I think maybe the only chance he's got of doing that if he can call his mate Mike Tyson in the ring to give him a hand.
Great, come back, come back.
See, Rosario is not a back foot fighter. Rosario likes to go forward and get full leverage into the punches, but he's not being allowed to do that, and it's making a big difference to his effectiveness.
Customers on the other side of the ring and wish they'd come over there and give them a treat, because most of it has been on our near side as we watch here. So coming out then for round 8. And if you've just joined us then, just to re-identify, in the red trunks, Julio Cesar Chavez, who looks ahead on points, challenging Edwin Rosario for the World Boxing Association version of the lightweight championship. That's at 9-9, and what a great fight it's been. And it's a repeat now. This is the fashion that's been set. Chavez moved up from 9-4 to 9-8 3/4. Has really virtually stood on the toes of Rosario and caught him on the chin a bit more than he would have liked. See, now it looks as though Jim is switching tactics here, because for the first time now Rosario started to go forward there, but for how long?
Yeah, well, Chavez looked as though he was volunteering to backing off there. He wasn't really forced back. Even now, he's not been forced back.
No, you're right. It's by the courtesy of Chavez that Rosario come forward.
Chavez looks now as though he's trying to allow Rosario to lead and bang him with counters. He caught him with a solid right-hand counter, and that seems to be his plan at the moment.
Well, he needs something a little desperate, I'll tell you that, because he's definitely trailing. Chavez, as I've said earlier, has got such a tremendous variety of punches. He can straight punch, he can hook from all angles with either hand. He's a little gem of a fighter, and the way he digs to the body there to bring the guard down and switches it into the head there. He tried to there, but missed, of course. There's a kind of look of resignation on Rosario's face, Jim, here, as he's really wilting a bit and swelling around the face as if to say, what am I going to do with this fellow? And the crowd rising to Chavez as a strong Mexican support.
See, whenever we have a hot exchange, Rosario is always the one who wants to break it off, who wants to back off, or who wants to clinch. It's never Chavez. He always wants to stay there and keep working. We'll see what happens this time.
What a battle this is. There's nothing is slackened at all. You'd think they'd steal a breather of a round somewhere and get out of each other's way for a while. He's bleeding from the nose and obviously from the mouth there, Rosario. Now he's started to get, as they say in the dressing rooms, a bit banged up at this stage. Jim, have a look at the replay.
Good punches from each boxer, but the sharp ones coming from Chavez.
And the overhead look as well then, as he continually traps him in the corner. The left hook, even the right hand just tickled past the chin by his stand. As 9th round. Now, can this one go the 12? Because if it does, then Rosario's got some points to pull back. But you know what this game is. One punch can cancel out the arrears. When you see Chavez going to work like this, you can understand, can't you? 54 on the turn and stopped 45 of them.
All the way through, Chavez has dictated what kind of fight it was going to be. Rosario's tried to turn it into a boxing match once or twice. He's trying to do it now, but I'm sure within the next few seconds, Chavez will be moving up close and starting to bang away again.
Now there he's getting on half a bike anyway, Rosario. I don't blame him to say, well, I'm going to hide if I can, but you know, the old often repeated great Joe Louis remark, you can run but you can't hide in this business. Certainly the champion is the one who's marked, Jim, so I have to assume he must have taken more and share of punches, because there hasn't been any really dangerous head work here. A little bit of needle has crept in.
Yeah, well, all the way through, Chavez has looked the more powerful of the two. I think the only doubt we had in our minds was whether Chavez could cope with Rosario's punching power. We've never really seen Rosario's full power. I wonder if he is as strong as we've normally seen him.
He's looking to hold now. That's a sign with Rosario. He hasn't really wanted to cling as much as this. Certain swelling around the left eye there. This is the time, Jim, when the world champions, and obviously you were one yourself, you really need the commitment at this stage when you know the going's going against you, and is the title going to be lost?
Yeah, it's like one of these situations where the champion and the challenger usually wants it that little bit more. It's all the way through. Chavez has looked the hungrier of the two.
Now he's doing a rather, well, I was going to say slow, but it's a bit better than that, destruction job on Chavez now on Rosario, isn't he? Just cutting him down bit by bit.
Chavez hasn't landed as many punches in this round, but he's exerted the same pressure. He's always right in front of Rosario, keeping him under pressure.
They need all the repairs they can give this lad now, Rosario. He's got plenty of heart, but I don't know, there are signs on his face as if he's saying, well, what do I do with this fellow, you know, because this is the last one he wanted to lose to a Mexican.
Get the water up.
The inspectors from the Nevada Commission there stand in the corner to make sure there's no horseshoes in the gloves out for round 10. And can they keep this up now for 12 rounds? Because Rosario really is getting marked up around the face now. Well, talk about applying pressure. I mean, Chavez is really following everywhere, isn't he? He's got his almost treading on his toes as he goes in.
Not once has Rosario managed to stop him in his tracks with a good punch and give him something to worry about. The best punches Rosario has landed, Chavez has taken them and come right through them.
I think there's some chance for the nickname Chapo for Rosario there, and he needs all the help he can get. Well, part of the crowd are with him, but there are times when he looks as though he wishes he was with the crowd.
Watch it. Watch your hands. Watch your hands.
And I think the training and the road work and the preparation they must have gone through to keep this pace up, Jim.
Yeah, and there are no signs of Chavez wanting to drop the pace. He's been setting the pace all the way through, and usually the man who sets the pace lasts that little bit better, and it looks as though that's happening here. Now and again Rosario wants to grab hold and get out of trouble, but at all times Chavez wants to keep exerting the pressure.
I think they're coming in this corner now, especially for our cameraman, don't you? It's incredible the way they picked this one. So there you are, he's repeatedly warning Rosario, don't hold there. But the referee doesn't score if it goes to 12. That's left to the 3 American judges. What a round this is, Jim. He's holding and hitting a bit as well there, Chavez.
Rosario doesn't seem to have the legs now to get himself out of trouble. Earlier in the fight, in those situations, he was getting out of there, but he didn't have the spring to get out. A little bit more clinching now.
Oh, I think it's on the wall here now, because this really is a complete takeover by Chavez, now the challenger. And we're set for a new champion, it would seem. What a remarkable little fighter he is, 25 years old. And he's never been so pleased to hear the bell there, Rosario. You could see that expression on his face. And that's Dr. Flip Pomansky of the Nevada Commission there, who checks on. He has every right to get in the ring without being called. And he's a very experienced fight doctor, as they call him in America. Well, the seconds are saying he's okay, Jim. They couldn't, in a championship fight, they wouldn't quit with that one. They'd need a little bit more than that of this caliber of fight, wouldn't it? Out for the 11th.
Chavez run back to the corner with the same speed. He come back out again at the beginning of this round. He really knows things are going his way. He just wants to keep the pace going now. He's quite happy with everything that's happened.
What a battle. He's given it all he's got, Rosario, but it's too much of an uphill one. Years ago here in Vegas, they had Wilfredo Gomez and Salvador Sanchez, Puerto Rico, Mexico. They were great fighters, but it didn't beat this one, really. And you see, Jimmy's holding on now. This is the sign, isn't it? Well, he lasted out.
Rosario has shown a lot of heart all the way through, but it's always, the tide has always been coming in against him. And he landed a good punch there, no trouble at all to Chavez, just keeps banging right through them.
the referee more or less on his toes there. Whether he's going to dive in or not, we don't know. I think he might wait for a knockdown. On the other hand, he's shipping some punishment now, Rosario. He's been taking his share all through, but now this is repetitive now. His eyes swelling as well, closing. He's had a look at that, Richard Steele. Notice that. Midway then, through the 11th. Oh, it's swelling now by the second, isn't it, Jim? Can this go? I doubt it. You see how he's primed there, Steele. He really is getting closer to the fighters now.
Rosario is still firing back, and that's probably why the referee's allowing this to go on, because he's taken some tremendous punches, but he keeps full of heart. He keeps trying to fire back, but it's really, things are really going against him now.
What's elbow? What's elbow?
Watch the elbow there, he's shouting that. It's all going in now, I'll tell you that. Chavez can smell the championship. He's given that one up to get another one. Oh, and he's still fighting his heart out there, Rosario. But it's just not good enough against a man who's really been in tremendous... Now there's a close-up of the eye now. He can't go on with that, even with a round and just a bit to go. It's a tough one now for the Puerto Rican champion. Yes, it looks like it's going to be all over, and it is. Compassionate act there by Richard Steele, and quite right. He had to give Rosario every chance to stay in there. When you're in with a little machine like this, and Jim, in the replay, here's the finish.
Yeah, well, it was all going against him, and not being able to see was just the last thing he needed. Chavez took control all the way through, never allowed Rosario to dictate his kind of fight, and I think the referee picked the right time to step in there.
And there it is now, the repeat. The overhead cameras at work there. They're not deliberate headbutts, it's just that they're standing so close here, and Chavez falls in again there, which obviously is worsening the eye. So there it is, a close-up of the dethroned champion now. You can imagine how sick he must feel, having taken all that punishment and lost the crown and the money that goes with it. And he's been a good champion. And there it is, the man being hoisted, and what a great champion this fellow is.
Yes, a remarkable fighter, isn't he? 55 wins, no defeats, 46 wins inside the distance, and if he can totally dominate...
Okay, Julio Cesar Chavez is the new lightweight champion. Describe the fight to us and what you wanted to do to him and how the fight went.
¿Cómo fue la pelea y si todo sucedió como tú querías que fuese ahora que eres el nuevo campeón?
Fue una pelea dura, una pelea muy fuerte. Rosario es un gran...
a hard fight, a strong fight.
Rosario es un gran pegador, pega muy fuerte.
Rosario is a good hitter.
Me lastimó una vez.
He hit me once.
Pero yo sabía que él no podía noquearme.
But I knew he could not knock me out.
When did he hit him and hurt him?
¿Cuándo fue que te golpeó fuerte?
En el 10º round me pegó una izquierda, bajé la mano.
In the 10th round he hit me with a left hook.
Sentí el golpe más duro de él.
Was your plan to try to smother him so that he couldn't have punching room?
Tú estabas tratando de cansarlo para que él no te pudiera pegar.
Esa era la pelea mía, forzarlo, siempre lo dije desde antes de que empezara la pelea.
That was my fight, try to keep him away and tire him out.
When did you know that he was weakening? When did you think you had the fight under control?
¿Cuándo supiste que se estaba debilitando y que tú estabas ganando la pelea?
Desde el segundo round yo sabía que Rosario no podía noquearme porque me conectó duros y no pudo tumbarme.
At the second round I knew I was winning the fight because he hit me and I couldn't hardly feel it.
Why do Mexican fighters take a punch so well?
Porque ¿cómo es que los mexicanos pueden recibir golpes tan bien?
Es que nos preparamos a conciencia
We prepare ourselves.
Y trabajamos muy duro.
We work very hard.
Y además somos muy valientes.
And we are very brave.
Many of your countrymen thought that Rosario would not be able to take your punch. Did he take your punch well?
Mucha gente en México pensaba que Rosario no podía recibir tus golpes. ¿Cómo recibió Rosario tus golpes? ¿Cómo crees tú que él los recibió?
Porque él se preparó muy duro y además aguanta golpe Rosario.
Because he can take a punch and he worked hard.
Congratulations. What is your feeling now about winning the championship?
Felicitaciones. ¿Cómo te sientes ahora con respecto a haber ganado el campeonato?
Muy contento y quiero unificar el campeonato.
And I want to unify the championship.
Y posteriormente buscar el campeonato Welter Junior.